What's good?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 17? 17
Sounds right.
of the Bo and Aaron podcast. We haven't recorded in a while. No, this is episode 18. Okay, we're cooling. Episode 18.
Also sounds right.
But we've had some real life distractions. So, how have you been, Bo? I haven't really talked to you that much in a serious manner recently.
Pretty good, dude. This I have like an eventful few weeks. I mean, it kicked off, I guess, this past weekend. We had our first proper D&D session and my character died, which kind of sucks, but it means I get to make a new character and make it actually useful in combat since apparently we're going to be doing a lot of combat. And Aaron's planning to come down for probably the next session we do, either the next one or the one after, and play with us, and that'll be really cool. We'll get to do like a little one shot sort of thing. And this is like your first ever time playing D&D, right?
Right.
Would be, yeah. I mean, this is basically my first time too, so it's pretty fun. But other than that, we got Raids 3 coming out in RuneScape, which is Pog, like so Pog that I took off of work for it. So I'm super excited for that. Other than that, I've been progressing a bunch in climbing. I sent a V7 on the kilter board and quite a few V6s, quite a few V5s. So like our gym notoriously sandbags grades, so like a V4 really might climb like a V6, or really it might climb like a V4 or a V5 outside, which is saying something for gym grades. But the kilter board is more kind of true to like gym grades, or at least like board grades. So you get that like sense of progression, I guess, a little bit more. I mean, like V9s, V10s are still like impossibly hard to me even on the board, but regardless. But with that progression has come, I don't know if I'd call it an injury, but I have the like ring finger, or like the not real ring finger, the one on the right hand, um, has always been like crooked. Mine has, but lately the proximal interphalangeal joint, so the PIP, um, which is the closer one and the bigger one, the one further away from the fingernail, has become like kind of very painful actually to flexion and to touch, and has like swollen up, and it's only been bothering me ever since I started using that kilter board. So I think it might just have something to do with like increased load on my fingers, but I'm taking like a half rest week this week and hoping that clears up. But
Do you tape your
yeah.
fingers at all?
Yeah, usually I just tape for like skin things. So like if I have like a skin tear, I'll tape over it so it doesn't like tear more. But I might start trying to buddy tape this ring finger with the middle finger, because I've also noticed that this ring finger is like it is kind of hyper flexible like to the left and right, which
Yeah.
suggests that maybe the stabilization in there isn't as good, so buddy taping it might be a boon. I'm gonna try that out. Yeah, but it's kind of crooked too. It's crooked and swollen, just kind of looks gnarly. What about you, man? What you
I've
been
been
up
on
to?
a adventure. So I guess can't remember if I mentioned this in episode 17, but I dislocated my rib, so cartilage has been all
Yeah,
torn
we
up.
left off on that, and you vowed to take notes at jujitsu and stay on the grind. Have you stayed true?
Yeah, so I did that for a month, and then I decided I'm gonna take this month off because I'm gonna be doing a lot of jujitsu in the future and try to like improve the other areas in my brain and life right now. So, but yeah, I did for a month. I went and took notes, and it actually helps. And like my rib is like kind of okay now. It's not ready for like live rounds or anything yet, but it doesn't hurt all the time anymore, so that's good. And I
Yeah,
let's see, I don't know. It's been like since training is like my primary like mental health thing. Mental health was kind of on a low this past month, but I've been good enough to start lifting a little bit and doing a little bit of cardio, so I've been feeling better.
that's good.
And I decided I'm gonna start writing a book because I think I was thinking about doing YouTube for a while, or I might still do YouTube. I don't know, but I want to just like do something creative and also like break free of the corporate bullshit. So I was really debating between YouTube and book, but I think I'm like way better at writing than most people already. And making YouTube videos isn't that fun for me. Like the whole editing process and stuff, and reading from a script and all that. Like I really don't enjoy that at all.
Yeah.
So,
What's your book idea?
so I don't know if it's gonna be fiction or nonfiction yet. Well, I have ideas for both. I can't pick, but basically, what I storyboarded up. So the story's like about AI. It's like about we had episode 16 about like what makes a person and the Lambda bot.
Hmm.
It's basically that. So there's two main characters. There's a girl and a guy. The girl, this is like sci-fi, but it's not like hardcore. It's like, hold on, let me backtrack. So for those that don't know, soft sci-fi is like where it's the rules are like malleable and it's not based on physics and it's more about the story. Hard sci-fi is like, okay, there's like, well, it's either our laws of physics or it's like in the universe there's like a very set out like set of rules. And that's for like the more, I mean, there's a place for both. I've read and enjoyed both kinds of sci-fi, but anyways, this is a soft sci-fi uh, story. There's two main characters, a guy and a girl. The girl is working on a space station that's like orbiting above Earth in like the near future, like 2050. And the guy is like a programmer working on Earth. And the guy discovers like that one of his computers he's like working on like develops a sentient AI. And then they both work for the same company. And the girl discovers like she's working on like a fake space station. So like it's meant to keep breaking down all the time so the company gets more funds so they can funnel it into their secret AI project. And then yeah, so on and so forth. They both like meet up and like they have to like help the new AI who turns into the guy's friend and they have to help free him from the company and something like that.
Yeah, that sounds dope. But did you say you weren't sure if you were gonna do nonfiction or fiction? Is that the fiction storyboard?
Yeah, that's the fiction. So the nonfiction would be just like I don't know, something about like social media or like AI still, but probably social media and just how it's like changed everything. So it kind of builds on a lot of the stuff that we've talked about in this podcast, like just social media's effect and technology's effect on everybody and all that stuff. But it'd be like a series of essays, I think. I don't know, but like it's I'm better at writing nonfiction, but it's harder. Or like everything about nonfiction is harder. I don't know. I could do both. I just got to focus on one thing though. So as soon as I pick the one thing, I was trying to run with it. So I'm trying to like remove all these fucking like bullshit distractions out of my life, which I think I've been doing pretty well, and just try to write every day for like 45 minutes. But yeah, and try hopefully like 2 or 3 years from now, I'll have made enough money to like just write more and be a samurai. So yeah, that's the plan for me.
Nice.
And I also started going to church again as of last week. So, and that's been fun. The church I went to is really pretty. And I met some like people my age there, so that are pretty cool. So, but yeah, I'm trying to make positive changes, Bo. We'll
That's good.
see.
How's
So,
your
go
how's your
ahead,
job been?
dude. I
Have
mean,
you
it's
been finding
fine.
any
It's just like,
satisfaction?
hmm,
Said, have you been finding any further satisfaction in your job?
dude. I just like not really. I can't. I don't know. I'm just so different from everybody. I need to do like my own thing and like go on my like introspective like journey and write shit and read shit. You know what I mean? Like I just like the corporate stuff. I just can't. I absolutely can't envision myself doing it for 40 years or whatever. It's just until the other thing takes off.
Yeah.
Like I I don't know, like I don't want to be like pretentious or like I just can't do it. Like it's not I don't know, it feels wrong. Even though the people I'm working with are awesome now, like it's just like a grind, like and it doesn't maximize like my skills and personality to like their fullest extent, whereas I think like reading and writing does. So the problem is it takes a while to generate value from that because I mean, it's obvious like you have to actually write something, then refine it, then get it published, then get it sold. It's a big long process.
Dude, I think what you should do is hone all of your talent and abilities into creating a fake internet persona and a bullshit masterclass, and then write a book associated with that and do the bare minimum on YouTube and reap the rewards. Get on TikTok. Ooh,
Yeah,
that'll be
but
big.
it's not about money though. It's about like it's like my legacy, my creative legacy. But actually I was thinking about doing TikTok. So my like original YouTube idea was like to like summarize decline and fall of the Roman Empire, which I could still do. It just takes time, but it's so much easier on TikTok. I was thinking of doing, even though I hate TikTok, but like this would be purely for money. Like just make a TikTok about each Roman emperor because they did so much crazy shit. Like I don't know, but I also hate TikTok too, so that's kind of a problem.
Mm,
I guess I can
I
make
mean,
YouTube Shorts, but that's I don't know. Nope.
same thing.
Yeah. I'm thinking about that. I don't know. I have to because like a lot of my thing is like against social media and technology, so it's kind of like two faced if I make shit on that platform and still say that I don't like it. You know what I mean? So it kind of goes against
Yeah, but I mean,
my
like,
creed
an
a little
obvious
bit.
counter argument to that would be like,
I could do YouTube
well,
Shorts though.
who are
That's
you
not
trying to get
against.
the message of being careful about social media to? Well, surely those who use social media. How do you get it to them? Use social media.
Yeah, but like I said, I just want to focus on one thing because my like major problem is I'm like I'm too interested in too much different shit. Like it's such a problem, dude. And I'm just like it's like a curse because like if I get involved in something, I have to be like a nerd about it. I can't just like casually follow something.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
but I mean, I guess I know how you feel as well, but I feel like you get a deeper appreciation too. So, gift as well as a curse.
It's like 50-50. I don't even know, man. But also I've discovered this new podcast. Have you heard of the Red Scare podcast?
Uh, Not really. I feel like I've seen it in my Spotify like recommended, but I like literally never use Spotify, and I like, it's one of those, like snapshot memories sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
So basically, well, I guess do you listen to Come Town, right?
not
Not
really.
really, but like you're aware of it. So like one of
Yeah.
the Red Scare girls like dated Adam Friedland from Come Town for like a while, a little bit.
Okay.
But anyways, it's these two ladies in New York, and they're like really weird because they're like on both political parties at once, and they just have a podcast where they talk about random stuff, and it's really interesting because they're just uh like super politically incorrect, but not, but they're also like kind of left wing, but also not like I don't know. It's just interesting. And they like they're like left wing kind of, but they also hate the woke stuff. So they're like kind of normal, but they're also like weird actress chicks. So they're weird. Like I don't know. It's been interesting to listen to,
Yeah. I'll also check it out.
and they're also both Russian too. So
Never
that's
been
I
to
was like
Russia.
another. The ladies' names are Dasha Nekrasova and Anna Karach. Shoot, Ka- Kachian, Anna Kachian. But Yeah, they both are like New York like socialites, kind of, but people also hate them because they're kind of right wing, even though they're also left wing. Um, and it's kind of interesting too because the Dasha chick, she uh is like part of this trend of like being Catholic, which I'm also Catholic. So it was kind of interesting to hear what she like. I don't, the thing is, I don't know if she's ironically Catholic or actually. It's really hard to tell because like it's about 50% shit posting and like 50% intellectual takes on their podcast. So, but um, it's been interesting.
What's the trend to become Catholic? I'm unaware of this.
Basically, so you know how like our like cultural norms have been um very like all the sexual mores are changing, like you can be a man, you can be a woman, like it's okay to um like be a sexual degenerate basically, and you know if you're a girl you can bang as many dudes as you want and it's still fine for you, that kind of thing, like the woke stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Basically there's been a pushback, like the pendulum is starting to swing the other way where there's like a return to like more religious and more like traditional gender roles and stuff like that. And I mean, I haven't really researched that much into it yet, but it's called like, so like you have your girl boss is like the epitome of like the new empowered female, and then trad wife is like the new like pushback against that, like a traditional wife that like,
A trad wife?
yeah. Well, the thing
Dude,
is,
when you say trad wife, I think of like trad climbing, and like I think of just like a girl with a huge ass rack, like a huge ass trad rack. It's
but
just a
yeah,
completely different picture.
well, like they just wrote like a New York Times article about it, so it's like pretty established. But like, yeah, it's, and of course, like they said, it's like kind of alt right or whatever the fuck, but it's not. It's not really that. It kind of is. I don't know. All this stuff is like take it for what you will, but basically, it's just like a pushback against all the woke craziness with like a return to traditional moral values. Um, and yeah, the Dasha chick is like either part of that or ironically a part of it. Again, I haven't really listened to it enough to tell, but she talks about it all the time though, so I'm guessing she's like pretty serious. But yeah, and that kind of makes me feel good too because like after watching that "What Is a Woman" thing and all that stuff is just like pretty disturbing in my opinion. I mean, I'm not like phobic or like afraid. It's just like I think we've taken it a little too far, and we need to dial it back. Um, but anyway,
Yeah, I agree.
like there's tolerance, and then there's like radically shifting all of your society to bend around a small minority, which just doesn't make sense to me. Because I mean, obviously, like in the past, like if you're gay or whatever, that was like it, like you couldn't live your life and be gay like in the past. But now I think it's going too far to where if you're alternative lifestyle, like you have like you're like put on a pedestal almost by the cultural like tastemakers or whatever, and it's too far. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, so
sounds like
this,
we're on the same page.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, the Red Scare podcast, and that, yeah, like literally they were both born in Russia, or one was born in Russia, one was born in Belarus, which is like next to Russia. Um, so yeah, it also plays into like the learning Russian thing. They don't speak Russian at all, but they're definitely weird. They have that Eastern European uh uh what's the word I'm looking for? Like flavor. So
As in like their accent or like the video when you're
their
looking at them.
personalities are like they're a lot, their humor is very dry. They're like a lot more stoic. Uh very self-deprecating. It's very Eastern European, at least
Gotcha.
from what I have experienced. So,
Cool.
uh,
Yeah, I'll check it out.
yeah. Let me send. Well, I'll find like the good episodes. I was listening to like the relationships episode because it was just yesterday while I was doing some chores because it's pretty lighthearted, but they get into some like pretty heavy stuff. And they've had like a weird array of guests on. Like they've had Slavo Zizek, who's like a philosopher, who's like a famous left wing philosopher. They've also had Steve Bannon, who's like I guess infamous right wing like air quotes news dude. They've literally had a strange array of people on this podcast. So, and they also had have I ever talked to you about Lindy Man? Probably a little.
Yes.
Yeah, so they've had Lindy Man on the podcast, which I haven't listened to yet, but I'm probably gonna listen to that tonight. But anyway, yeah, it's cool because I don't want to get banned. They say gay and the R word like but regularly because I don't know because they just say whatever they want and they're not like saying it in like a phobic way. They're just saying it because they have freedom of speech or whatever, and it's kind of refreshing because they're both like left wing seemingly, but they're both like aware of the craziness. So yeah,
Yeah, I listen to this other left wing podcast. It's called the Ben Shapiro Show.
yeah, that one's super left wing. I can't even listen to that, bro. It's too crazy.
No, I don't listen to the Ben Shapiro Show, unfortunately.
I mean, he's cool, but I don't know. Like it's his job to get mad at everything. You know what I mean? So I'm just like a normal dude. I can't be listening to like how the world's like falling into pieces every 5 seconds because of stuff I can't control. I like because I was listening for a while, but my mental was getting like all whacked out.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But yeah, it's like I mean he's entertaining or whatever. He's like a fun personality to like listen to. I don't necessarily agree with like everything he says or whatever. But I think for me, like if the person has like a well reasoned thought process, I can at least be interested by what they're saying, even if I disagree. So
Yeah, that's in the heyday of like him and Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan. Um, there were good conversations being had. That's what I appreciated.
yeah, I just like to learn about what people think, and if we disagree, like that's fine. That's actually makes it more fun because talking to people that only agree with you is boring. Like, like it's just like talking to yourself, basically. At least in my opinion. But
Dude, on a totally different note, have you seen the video of Magnus Carlsen identifying like historic chess positions?
no, but I mean, if you're on that level of chess, so I guess what people like don't get is that it's chess players aren't like all on raw intellect. It's like pattern recognition. And so like when you see like a famous chess player like rattle off the first 20 moves like a famous game, the first thing is like that opening has probably been paid like 50 times so they know it and they know those specific lines. But then how a chess player thinks of things, it's like when I say remember when like LeBron made that 3 point shot and he stepped up to the top of the 3 point arc, like did a double dribble or not did a double dribble, like did a dribble behind his back and like pulled up. Like saying that is like the same as a chess player saying, "Oh, I move pawn, knight, bishop, blah blah blah." It's because their brain like thinks in chess. So does that make am I rambling or does that make sense to you?
No,
Like
all that makes
they're
perfect
remembering
sense to me.
plays like of a game. Like they're not remembering specific moves. It's like a they string the way they think about chess is like sports almost where it's like oh yeah remember that crazy knockout or like remember that crazy mate where he did the mating net with the knight like it's the same thing so yeah I wanted to preface this with Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all because the way chess players remember games is like how like
All
sports
right, I
players
mean,
remember
like
sports. So
you say that, but the thing that really caught me was the fact that he was able to accurately say all the dates. On one of them, he goes, "Oh yes, I was actually just reading about this last night. It's in a book." And the third one was he knew the position in Harry Potter when they were playing the magical pieces at the end.
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like remembering a sports game basically. But obviously, they're super talented and super like dedicated to have gotten to that level to understand chess like that. But to me, it's not as impressive as like to people that don't know chess as much. But it's still insane though. Like, yeah, don't let me like take that away from that. Like, because Hikaru Nakamura like literally remembers every fucking game he's played ever. He's like, oh yeah, I've had this position like 10 times, and he'll be just playing like online chess like against some noob. Like, yeah, I've had this position 10 times against who, and he can name off like which tournament it happened and like if he won or lost. So it's
Yeah,
definitely an interesting.
it
In-
also seemed like he was like there were various positions from like the same person, and he was like it seemed like he had a stylistic thing that he was picking up on. He's like, "Oh, this is definitely so and so game."
yeah. Yep. It's again like I'm gonna use the sports analogy again. Like it's like watching you see Curry's style. Like he likes to shoot from three. He likes to move the ball around and shoot the layup high off the glass. Like those styles are the same in chess too. It's just not obvious to the non educated player. And even I like I don't recognize the styles or anything yet, but I get it. Did you know
Yeah.
that Magnus is not competing in the next world championship?
Uh, yeah. Well, I didn't see it confirmed, but yeah, I saw it when that news broke. The He said he didn't want to defend his title.
Yep, because he just beat the dude in the current championship, and he didn't want to like do all that preparation just to beat the dude again. So he's retired or not. I don't think he's retiring, but he's just not going to defend the belt or the not the belt, the title. It'd be so cool if chess players had a belt for the world champion though. That'd be kind of
Imagine.
insane.
I don't know. I feel like he should defend it, but
I mean, he's been like a dominant champ since
what's the
2000.
preparation that goes into it? What do you mean? Does he have to do a bunch of tournaments leading up to it?
I don't think the champion does, but it's just like the level of preparation you have for the world championship is like insane because like you gotta study all of the players openings. You have to know because really like for the most part in like modern chess, modern like classical chess as in uh the players each have 40 moves for a 90-minute period, and then it goes to an overtime of I think 30 more minutes per game. um each player knows like the first 20 moves of each player for like 10 games, or no, excuse me, 12 games. So just the level of prep to go into that, and then you can't, it's the most important chess game, so you cannot make a mistake. Your preparation has to be like going into a fight camp, and he just didn't want to do that anymore, especially since he just beat that dude, and he didn't beat him like a little bit, he beat the crap out of him. So he didn't want
Is
to do
that
all that
Nepo?
just to do the same result. And I guess Magnus feels like his legacy is like pretty solid, is like one of the best players ever, if not the best player, because he's been the champ for like 10 years, like super dominant. So
Yeah. So what do you do when you're a chess player and you retire in modern era? Do you just keep playing online chess and
so yeah, like I said, I don't think he's retiring. He's just not gonna defend the world title.
yeah, but I mean even when you like so I mean I guess you can break it into stages. So when you quote unquote retire and when you actually retire, but like what do you do when you actually retire? Well, let's say. You just like
Um,
start playing online chess
yeah,
and
I mean, he could do that. I think what he wants to do is just like keep playing competitively, and if somebody interesting becomes the champion, he'll challenge them. I think is what he wants to do.
Hmm.
Um, because after he won the most previous championship against Jan Nepomniachtchi, he said he'll only defend the belt if Ali Reza Firouzja uh, was the challenger. So, because he deemed him to be the most interesting player, but Ali Reza washed out in the candidates tournament. So, and Jan won again. So the problem with Jan Nepomniachtchi is that he's either really good or really bad. Like he has no middle ground. So the first 5 games of this previous world championship was a draw. Like all of them were super close fought games. But then he had one mistake and then he got swept. Like his mental just crumbled. Like so
hate to see it.
so yeah, basically Magnus was just like, yeah, I don't want to do all that just to smoke you again. So I'm just gonna keep playing in tournaments and see what happens. At least, I mean, he could always change his mind, obviously, but as of now, that's what we know.
Yeah, I guess I see it. If he's just uninterested in doing that and wants to step down, and if somebody, uh, interesting fills the vacancy and he goes through and like wants to challenge them, like I see no problem with that realistically.
Yeah, I guess and the other thing about being a chess champ is like you have to be the face of chess, so you have to do all these like press conferences and public appearances and all that stuff. And I don't know if he wants to do that anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with it either.
Plus, like another thing that's like underrated, I guess, is like retire or like quitting while you're on top and like not losing. Like for example, like a fighter who's had a really good career and then loses like the last 6 fights of their career, it puts a stain on their legacy, like bad. So, like retiring while you're still at the peak of your power, or not, relative peak. I think that's also like a legacy thing too. But yeah, obviously the only person that knows is him. So
I don't think that's. I mean, yeah, from the layperson's perspective, looking in, it doesn't really seem like that's the primary motivator for him not wanting to defend the title.
yeah, I mean, I don't think so either. I think it's literally because he just doesn't want to play Jan Nepomniachtchi again. But I mean, yeah, like I said, it's gonna be like him, Bobby Fischer, and maybe like Kasparov are probably the top 3 players of all time. So,
Why are the Russians so good at chess?
um,
Chess and
Why are
wrestling.
the Russians so good at wrestling?
I don't know, man. Chess and wrestling. I guess it's because you can recover from one while playing the other.
Dude, I think it's just a cultural thing. Like some cultures are just really they're whatever's in their culture is like conducive to developing a certain skill. So I was actually listening to the John Danaher and Lex Fridman podcast. John Danaher is a jiu-jitsu coach, and he was talking about like New Zealand is like terrible or like just okay at every sport, but they're always like number one in rugby. So I think it's just a cultural thing. And he mentioned the wrestling too, the Russian wrestling. Like, and he was talking about how there's less Russian wrestlers than American wrestlers, and like most of them are from Dagestan, and it's just yeah, it must just be a cultural thing.
I guess so.
And like why are
Are most
Jamaica
of the chess?
why does Jamaica like usually win sprints? Like it must be like a cultural, yeah. At least my guess, but
Yeah, I think I would be interested to see, do the Russian chess players come from like a similar geographical region, or are they pretty Like,
I think they're pretty spread out,
interesting.
but I think it's like the culture, something about the way they train their players and his like. All I know is that the Russian players are all very disciplined. Like the Russian system is very like it's very positionally sound, so they don't take very many risks. Like they play very calculated and methodical. Like they're trained that way. Obviously, like they as they grow in their careers, they've changed their style, but I think that like preaching that sound fundamental style from the beginning probably helps.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's the same in wrestling too. But
Really. So like yeah, I mean I don't know much about American wrestling like the style of training.
well, I mean, even if you watch Khabib, like grappling is very conserved. It's not very like like I
Yeah,
don't
it's
want to say
not flashy at all. It's
showboaty,
pretty
but
simple.
it's literally he smothers you, right?
Yeah.
He starts with locking up on the feet and then takes you down. And as he takes you down, he kind of works his way up, and then once he gets complete control, starts pounding your head.
And I smash him and punch his
I
face.
smash him,
I make him tap like chicken.
dude. I miss Khabib.
Yeah, it's too bad his father passed away, or else he probably would still be fighting.
Yep, rest in peace, man. Is Khabib? Did you say he's coaching Islam, or is he
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just work out with him,
No, he coaches him. He's in his corner for every fight.
coaches him?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll have to watch more Islam then. Maybe we'll get some Khabib cameos. Khabib cameos.
Yeah, I mean, whenever Islam wins a fight, Khabib goes in the ring with him, or for his interview or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty based.
And Islam is fighting on October 22nd in like the most hyped fight of this year.
Oh yeah, who's he fighting?
Charles Oliveira, the current lightweight champ.
Oh, that is pretty big.
And Charles
I'll have
Oliveira is like
to.
really good at jiu-jitsu too. So it's going to be
Yeah,
interesting to
he's not
see.
gonna. Doesn't matter how good at jujitsu you are, dude. If you're not from Dagestan, it doesn't
Dude,
matter.
I mean, he literally has the most submissions in UFC history though. Like
It's the Dagestani difference, bro.
I guess like, that's why everybody wants to see it because they want to see like the best jiu-jitsu dude versus the best wrestler.
Yeah. Nah, that's pretty hype.
Yeah, it's gonna be in Abu Dhabi, October 22nd. So,
Ooh, I might have to fly over for that.
yeah,
You want to come with?
I think I'm gonna save my money and just watch it on pay per view.
Damn. I bought 10 AC drones and 2 lawn chairs and a bunch of duct tape.
For what?
Fly to Abu Dhabi.
Oh, right. Yeah, good luck flying across the Atlantic in that. Oh, have you seen those videos of those people who like row like a sailboat across the Atlantic Ocean?
Yeah, it was wasn't it an all woman team?
No, it was one. Well, the one I saw was one chick, and she went on Rogan. That's how I know about her. But she literally
Mm,
fucking rode from like the United States East Coast to London or England or whatever, and by herself, in like a little rinky dinky boat.
that's
That's
pretty, dude. That's like,
it took months, and she was out there alone. Like she had no like distress signal or anything.
yeah, I think I can kind of so like when people get scared like climbing, they get scared of like the heights or whatever. I think it's kind of silly because, like I trust the rope systems essentially, but I can kind of put it into perspective the level of fear they have by comparing it to the amount I would have in any vessel like that in the fucking
In
Atlantic
the middle of the
Ocean,
ocean,
just
and
like
like there's storms and
halfway across.
everything,
Yeah.
and I can't remember like I gotta find out which episode that was, but I think she was eating like very limited food too. She was only eating like 1,000 calories a day because when you get to that level of like a single person propeller or a single person like um what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Rower.
Yeah, like a single rower, like every pound matters of stuff you're taking because you're gonna be traveling like thousands or hundreds of miles or whatever with that. So yeah, she was eating like the bare minimum. All her water came from like a water converter that like collected. She collected rainwater, I think, and she filtered out salt water. But
That's crazy.
and she was rowing like a lot. I gotta find that episode. Um, but yeah, it was pretty interesting.
I got a friend who's really good at rowing.
Like collegiate, like regatta rowing, or like
Yeah, collegiate.
gotcha. Oh, Katie Spots. Katie Spots. That was her name.
Uh,
She rowed across the Atlantic Open. Yeah, or Atlantic Ocean. Sorry.
my boy is Horse Lord.
Oh, is he actually good?
I don't know about good, but he walked onto his school's rowing team,
Yeah, I
and he
mean, well, that
is a
depends on like
college
what school he's
athlete.
going to then. So
Dude, I'm not gonna leak what school Horse Lord's going to. I'll tell you off
okay, that's
pod in the
fine.
next
Yeah, yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
We can make an evaluation as to whether he's a real deal rower. But
I
I'm gonna
mean,
tell
yeah,
you
like if
straight
you
up,
walk onto
probably
his
not.
team, your school's team, you obviously have skill. But I mean, there's like a
Like,
difference from walking on to like a Stanford or something, or first walking on to like
dude,
a
all I know is I went to Ohio State University, and they were like begging people to walk onto the rowing
yeah,
team.
that's what I'm
So,
saying. Like,
but what was I gonna say? I completely lost my train of thought. Basically, I can already tell you like in advance that oh no, I remember what I was gonna say. If you met Horse Lord and like asked him like, yo, horse, what's your name and the top three coolest things about you? Like rowing would not be in that top three list. I'm 99% sure in any context that you meet him in, he's not gonna put rowing in that list. But I don't know, maybe he could make it across the Atlantic. It
yeah, I
does
mean,
take
I
a
feel like
special
there's
type
more
of
than
person.
just like pure skill though. It's like a mentality
It's a
and
mental, yeah,
like
exactly.
logistics problem. And I'm pretty sure she like sold all of her possessions too. She literally put everything into this boat. I gotta listen to this
Dude,
episode again.
that reminds me, there's this and let me Google this right now. Um uh Alright. So there's this chick that did a similar it reminded me when he said she sold her shit because this chick have you seen 14 Peaks on Netflix
I've not.
with Nim dude, alright, do yourself a favor and watch that. That documentary is awesome. But
There's so much
anyway,
stuff that
so
I need to watch on Netflix, man. I gotta watch that. I gotta watch a documentary about a glass factory, a samurai documentary, and some other shit too.
yeah, so there's this one called 14 Peaks where this dude, Nims Purja, climbs all 14 8,000 meter peaks in the world within, it was like 6 months, 6 days or something he did it in. So he like shattered the previous record of like 7 years. And there's this chick that's doing it right now. She's like challenging the record. I think she's the article that I read the other day said she was on pace to beat it by 2 days right now. But she's a Norwegian climber. Kristen Harilla is doing it with a two-person climbing squad. So her and two other people, or so I guess it's a three-person climbing squad. But anyway, and it's the same people, right? So Nims had like he changed out his crew, going up the mountains and stuff. But this girl's keeping the same two climbers, so all three of them are gonna be doing this whole journey, which is a little bit more hardcore. But I think it said she sold her apartment or something on her the last time that she left it to like fund the expedition.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it just shows you that like you have way more shit than you actually need. I mean, well, not exactly, but you have a lot more like wiggle room in your life than you think. I think that's the message of that story.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like for me, like if all these people can like row across the ocean and like climb mountains and shit, I can write a stupid book and sell it. So And like if you go to the bookstore, there's all these shitty books, and I feel like I could write a book better than most of those people, so I got to do it.
Yeah, but where's the place where the good books go that aren't in the bookstore?
Um, no idea. Was that like a rhetorical question or sarcastic, or was that a legitimate question?
No, it was a legitimate question. Like, surely there's a bunch of good books that just don't make it into the bookstore. So where do they
Oh,
end up?
yeah. So actually, I do have an answer for that. Now that I understand what you're saying. It goes on the internet, and they don't make as much money off it usually. But some of the underground like Twitter authors that I read that have really freaking good books, um, yeah, they didn't really make that much money off them. I mean, compared to how much you can make if your book makes it big in the big time. But I mean, I guess also their subject matter was kind of pretty out there as far as like political correctness. So no,
Damn, are
no.
you
Hmm?
subscribe to alt-right Twitter authors? I'm gonna fucking report you, bro.
Um, not really. It's just that the cultural norms are like so out there that now like what used to be like center is now like alt right, basically. Well, one of the dudes kind of is alt right, I think, but the other dude is just a degenerate, and his stuff is not political at all. Well, I
What
guess
flavor?
the,
What
the
flavor of degenerate?
what flavor like relationships and sex and stuff, but like he writes his basically the stuff he writes is like super vulgar, but it captures like the essence of being a dude in the current like dating scene so well that it's just yeah. Um, but I take it back what I said about the other dude. Like his Twitter account is alt right, but his stories are kind of like they're not very political at all. They're just very like out there. It's the dude from the story I sent you from a podcast idea, the one with the avatar and the girl turns into her avatar or whatever.
Oh yeah,
He wrote a bunch of other stories too. So,
gotcha.
but yeah, there's a couple underground like, and their stuff is actually the writing quality is so good, and a lot of the stuff in bookstores is so junky. It's not even funny, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, I would just like to make enough money to pursue a lifestyle of you know like mental and physical improvement, whatever that means. So
Samurai.
yeah, exactly. Which I think it's definitely possible. It's so possible. It's just gonna be like 2 or 3 years of like slogging it out while I'm like working and doing this at the same time, which is gonna suck. But I think I've read enough self-help and productivity books that I like know exactly what to do. It's just a matter of like not being lazy. Speaking of
Yeah.
not being lazy, I finally built that IKEA desk that I bought in like March.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, I was just about to say. It sounds like you're taking a lot of active steps against laziness. So good on you.
Yeah, I think after grad school ended, I needed to take off like a year just because I was like just mentally so done. But I'm ready to get after it again. So I need to take a piss really quick. I'll be back in like 32 seconds.
All right. Man, I need to take a piss too. Bad luck. I guess it's a solo sode until then. What to talk about? Really hope my finger heals up. I think it's synovitis, but if anyone has ever dealt with finger injuries, let me know what your strategy was to getting over it. But I'm gonna try to somewhat immobilize it in the left to right direction by buddy taping it and see if that works. Heat's also been
Okay, I'm
helping,
back. I
but
hope you kept the audience entertained.
yeah, I did. I was talking about my finger again.
Yeah, I see a lot of judo dudes and jujitsu dudes tape up their fingers too. So I guess you should look at that. Like there's a like you said the buddy taping system and
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I think I'm gonna buddy tape it to keep it from moving left to right, um, and see if that helps any.
in my mind it should help and just until your finger tendons develop like whatever strength they can get.
Yeah, I don't know. This finger's definitely been crooked my whole life, but it could just be a result of like hard climbing or something. I'm really not sure. And maybe they'll just get used to it, but yeah, I'm not positive. Best thing I can do right now is rest though.
Yeah,
Speaking of
same.
rest, I'm gonna hit the hay soon. So you wanna close this one out?
Yeah, sure. Um, let's see. This is episode 18, and I
Yes,
went on
sir.
like a manic rant for like 45 minutes. But I mean, that's like the state of mind I've been in, so it is what it is. Dude, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I gotta focus on one thing. Like, if not, I just like go crazy. So
Yeah.
we'll probably record again soon. We have some ideas in the pipeline for like actual focus topics. So, and I kind of have some others ideas too that I need to think about more for this podcast. And I'll run them by you, obviously, to like,
Got a lot of ideas in the workings.
right. And but yeah, like I said, I'll run it by you after I get like actual like shit to show you instead of just like hot air to blow at you. So, and we're dude, I can see why most podcasts flame out before episode 21, but I think we're going to keep going for a while though cuz I still enjoy talking to you and I think we have good discussions and all that stuff.
Yeah, realistically too, if there's ever a time where we start producing bad podcast episodes, I'll take one for every five good ones, sort of thing. You know what I mean? As long as
Yeah.
there's productive stuff. But I mean, obviously too, we're just never gonna produce any bad podcast episodes, so we can
Yeah.
just
The only one that
not have that problem ever.
the ones that I really didn't like is probably the networking one. I didn't like that one. And I really liked the metaverse one, but it got discarded. I think the one we did with Tom, that was a good one.
Dude, we should have Tom on again.
Yeah, let's have him on again. That'd be fun. Which
Dude, we
episode
could
was that?
get, speaking of different opinions, we could get Colton on sometime. We'd have to give him some focused topics, I think, but we could
Yeah,
get him on.
like yeah, I agree. Or just like yeah, I agree. Like we're gonna have to like not do like a free flowing discussion like we have sometimes because I think he'd be better with like a very driven discussion. Cause I mean like when he does like get serious about uh like a conversation, he always says stuff that's really interesting to me. But if he's just like fucking around, then it's yeah, it's not gonna be as good. It's not gonna be as like high quality as, of a discussion. So
Yeah,
whereas Tom, I think can do kind of more the uh free flowing type. So
yeah, for sure.
I think we have
Well,
enough chemistry that we can kind of do both and be good with it. So because we've like curated that level of like conversation over. I guess it's been 6 months, man. We've been doing the pod for 6 months, and
yeah, I mean,
we
yeah,
we had like a
before.
bunch of like episode 0 podcasts before that. So, but yeah, I
Yeah,
will let you go to sleep now. Thanks for listening, everybody. All those millions of people that listened and
I think it's billions now. Last time I checked, at
billions.
least. Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for all the billions of people. Like
it's really
DM me on
very big in
Instagram and
North
Twitter if
Korea.
you need a boyfriend for the summer because I'm single. So
Dude, I
and
saw a. All right, yeah, we'll end it. Peace.
yeah, see ya.